last time we'll see Georgia is in the 2024.
Welcome back to the
taking on Dabo and the Clemson Tigers. That should be a
to the
great one
Sanford
to help
Stadium in
kick
Athens,
off
Georgia.
the college
Now,
football
in this
season.
upcoming season, in the Aflac kickoff game is going to be August 31st on a Saturday. And this game will be live at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta,
You
Georgia.
look at the schedule just all year long with the conference realignment and the excitement of almost every single week, all these big-time matchups, and obviously now ESPN, ABC owning all the SEC is going to be awesome for us.
Aflac kickoff game is the nation's longest running kickoff game, August 31st. You do not want to miss it. Georgia and Clemson. Gunnar Stockton still in, but still balling out. That's Tuggle, freshman from Indiana.
That ball got some zip on it too. A few hitches, feeling some pressure on his backside, and just threw a little missile out there to the young mid-year Tuggle for a nice completion. We've seen Gunnar today from the very first pass of the game, deep throw down the field, really showing off what he can do vertically.
Like,
That's London Humphreys. So again, the depth at wide receivers on full display here at the Georgia spring game.
I know a lot of people are excited to get 16 from Vanderbilt. Feeling if this could be our new Ladd McConkey. And you look at the depth chart right now, you're like, man, I got to get through this guy and that guy and that guy. So I know we might have said it a couple times today, but I know a lot was lost, but there is a lot coming back at the receiving position and some good key transfer guys as well.
Well, think about this. We've been playing football for nearly 2 hours now. 18 different players have caught a ball in this game. And Georgia hit the portal like every team does now in modern college football. In particular, picking out some offensive weapons. ETN out of the backfield. Young and Humphreys expected to add to that wide receiver room.
Yeah, all of them are going to obviously play their roles, but I'm really, if you're a Georgia fan, ETN at the running back position, you've seen him flash up the game. I think Colby, as he continues to learn the playbook, it's going to be more situational, third downs, red zone situations, and then Humphreys will continue to work into that slot position as well.
Plenty of room to run here. Inside
oh, touchdown, Black Team.
It's White into the end zone for the first time in a Bulldog uniform. The pride of Cartersville, Georgia, part of this star-studded #1 recruiting class in the country.
Ain't nothing better than being a guy that's supposed to be in high school, coming out there on your very first G-Day, get a nice simple ball in the flat, and then turning it up, making a move. Great block on the outside there from his fellow mid-year Tuggle. And then getting in the end zone. See, these are the moments why you come in as a mid-year guy.
Aaron, I think you were making your way up back to the broadcast booth, but I'm just so impressed that Beck and Stockton have stayed in this entire game outside of one drive.
Oh, I can expect Gunnar. I know they want to get Gunnar reps. We've talked about that. He just needs to get as much experience as he can. But they want, and most teams want 4 scholarship quarterbacks. It's difficult in today's game because the transfer portal, if you're a number 3 or 4 guy, why not go somewhere else and have a chance to play? So it'll be interesting if they get another someone. But I know that they are very excited about Ryan Puglisi, a mid-year guy that just unfortunately has been banged up a little bit and unable to play here this afternoon.
So overall impressions, we've been saying it all afternoon long. Georgia expected to contend for their 3rd national championship in 4 seasons. What stood out to you over the course of these 2 hours?
Just how good that front 7 is defensively. This is and will be one of the best offensive lines.
Look at the red team has just taken it away. It's now taking over for now.
And I talked about this, I believe, in the first or second quarter. That would be somewhat of a concern of, you got Malachi Starks, but there's a bunch of guys that are young and unproven. Well, the best way to protect that secondary is to play more 2 high safeties, to play a little bit more shell defense, and then allow that front 7 to go out there and dominate. And I think based on what we've seen today, they're going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to stop the run with a 6-man box and play a little bit more 2 high safeties.
Beck buying himself time. Floating incomplete. Couldn't quite land it safely to Andrew Paul.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, think about some of the great teams in years past, especially in today's game. I mean, so many of these offenses are going to want to get out in 11 personnel, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back, sometimes 10 personnel with 4 receivers. Put a lot of stress on the DBs. You need to protect those young guys in the back end. And the more that you can do that and get after the quarterback, the more success you're going to have.
Kirby Smart and Georgia going to deal with a gauntlet. We talked a lot about Clemson as the opener. That road schedule is brutal. At Alabama, at Texas, at Ole Miss.
So what we talked about just about a few seconds ago, talking about the upcoming 2024 schedule. So I know the first game that this team for Georgia Bulldogs, their football team, will face against Clemson as a season opener at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Since Atlanta ain't far from Athens.
And now those teams get to come to Athens.
And Athens is not far from Atlanta either. It's only about an hour and a half ride from Athens to Atlanta, then from Atlanta to Athens.
Hey, next year, you're coming to our hometown between the hedges. And that's what makes this new SEC era with Oklahoma and Texas joining even more exciting. All these big-time brands we get to witness week in and week out and year in and year out here at the SEC. But it's a gauntlet. It really is. And especially week 1 versus Clemson, I know Kirby Smart is using that, obviously, as motivation for this team to really work hard, not only with these practices in the spring, but over the next 4 months leading up to that big-time game.
So what's going to be a tougher ticket to get? 2025, Texas, Alabama here between the hedges, or 2 hours from us, Masters, Saturday, Sunday at Augusta?
Oh, man, I know it's been very tough for Georgia fans to get everything booked up to go to Austin, I think partly due for the fact that they have the F1 race there. But I know Georgia fans are going to be very excited to welcome the Longhorns to Sanford Stadium in a couple of years from now, or I guess in a year and a half from now.
You're still looking for your Masters ticket for tomorrow, right?
I am. Trying to steal Coach Bobo's.
Yeah, Brett Thorson, who's the charismatic Australian punter for Georgia, he gave a little golf-style Masters impression of some highlights from Georgia's year a year ago.
Second corner. Here, the ball is snapped. It's a screen to McConkey. He's meant to throw. He says, "Don't worry, follow me." He takes off. He makes 1 miss. Then he takes the ball all the way, and the Dogs' 4th touchdown of the game. The Dogs here in punt formation, and the good-looking man from Melbourne, Thorson, punts the ball away, and wow, that may bring rain. Wise decision and a fair catch, and Thorson jogs off.
Thorson's a character. I love that. We got to get him on some golf coverage. The Australian, he's a great punter as well. He hosts a podcast with Tate Ratledge, the All-SEC first-team right guard. Those two are hilarious. Highly recommend listening to those guys.
Absolutely trip. He's such an incredible personality. Like you said, first and foremost, an incredible punter to boot. Can really knock that thing as far as you need to go. So getting him back, not just for the entertainment aspect, but also when needed to punt to knock someone in the 20s, a huge hit for Kirby Smart, this football team.
You need somebody in a locker room that can keep it light in this high-stress SEC environment, right?
Well, that usually does fall on the specialists. You know, they're always a little bit goofy in there, got a little bit more time on their hands.
Who was that for your team when you were at Georgia? Who was the funny guy, keep it light in the locker room?